What's up, y'all? It is Thursday, March 28th, something like that. And I'm back in the shop. Pops is up at the house getting him something to eat. And he's been on the lawnmower pretty much all day. He got the old Cub Cadet out and got it cranked up, got the blade sharpened on it. He's been going to town. So we've been doing some spring cleaning out here. We got a trailer full of scrap sitting out there, and we still got some more we're gonna put on that trailer too. So we're gonna get this place cleaned up, man. We were really wanting to get things cleaned up, do some spring cleaning as they call it. We about to do a bunch of it, I promise. But we've been busy. We've been busy working on Matt Brown's Hound Dog chassis right here. And we've got some more bars in it. And we've got some more work done on it. And Pops and I are gonna hit it hard these next few days. We got some parts coming in. Things like headers, steering U-joints, steering mounts and stuff, brake pedal mounts. All that'll be coming in the next day or so, excuse me. And we're gonna try to get this thing knocked out for him so he can get it to powder coat and start putting this thing together, man. It's coming together. It's gonna look good. And we're very, very thankful that people are wanting these chassis from us. And shout out to Matt for wanting to get one. And then we've got another frame laying out here that's been dropped off. So we'll show y'all what we got going on. We're gonna get busy today. Y'all hang out. Alrighty, so in the last video, y'all seen where we cut the tail end off and we done our B-pillar bars. Pops and I went ahead and got the rear clip knocked out, and we are going to be putting a bar here and then the fuel cell that came in at the 22-gallon RCI, I believe. And it came in day before yesterday, I believe. So we're gonna get it mounted. We're gonna clamp to this bar, and then we're going to clamp to a bar back here that we put in. So that fuel cell will be able to move side to side. Y'all seen us do that before. And we're going to come in here and we're going to trim these lips off of these shock mounts. And I know some people are going to say, well, that's strength. It is. But if y'all remember, we put bars here to help support that, like that. So all that'll be supported. It won't go anywhere. And so what we're gonna do is our spring purchase come in. So we got these all-star spring buckets, jack bolt, pretty much a jack bolt spring bucket, what it is. But this is what we like to use. And we're gonna cut out this spring pocket. We're gonna weld that in from the bottom. And that just helps hold those springs in there on the top instead of just those factory little lips in there. So it just kind of helps out, hold that spring in there better. And then we got these in, and we also got the mid-plate motor mounts. All that finished up. So we'll be doing some trimming there. We have to trim the bottom of the mid-plate right here to make it go inside the frame. And we use those multi-hole brackets from A&A Manufacturing. So we'll cut those off a little bit and clean them up, and that way they're not sticking out so far. Same thing on the passenger side. And then today we're going to work on getting our braces in the back of the hoop. Y'all remember we put 1.25 inches in here, from here to the bottom of the rear hoop on both sides. We're going to work on getting everything done inside here before we put the door bars on. And y'all remember we put bars here that curve to keep anything from coming in here. So we want to get those spring perches done and all of our bars in here done before we put these in, just for easy access. So we plan to do that today. We plan to work on our front hoop, and we're going to work on the hoop here that goes in front of the radiator, and then our tube that ties the frame rails together. We're going to work on all that. So yeah, we got a lot to do. Like I said, today's Thursday, off work tomorrow for Good Friday. And then, of course, the weekend's supposed to be really nice. We do have some things we need to get done around the house. But Pops and I are going to put as much time as we can in on this in order to get it knocked out. So, appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Y'all hang out. We're going to start making some bars. Can't thank y'all enough for watching. Y'all stay tuned. We're fixing to get busy. All right, y'all. As y'all can see, we got our spring cups welded in. 1.25 inch braces down to the spring cup, 1 inch down to the shock mount. And we come right behind that shock mount hole. That way it gives it the most stability right there. And kind of sturdy all that up. Like I said, we're gonna come in here and cut this lip off to give us more room for the fuel cell, so we won't have to worry about that moving. It'll be there. It won't move, it won't bend or warp or anything. Pops is, I got a measurement just a second ago. Pops has got some 1.25 inch up in the vise. He's gonna measure, cut, and notch pieces to go in here. We like to put a brace in between here on both sides. We just put a piece of 1.25 inch in there just to brace that up a little bit.
10 5/8?
10 and 5/8, yep. And Pops was working on getting the notcher fixed up. The notcher that Ryan gave us, that we were talking about, the handle bolted together. So Pops put a bolt in the back with a nut, locking nut on it. And I just went ahead and welded the handle. That way we ain't got to worry about it. So it makes it a lot better because it was pretty flimsy. Also, earlier I mentioned the frame. While Pops is cutting those, I walk out here. This frame was brought to us by the guys at Coldwater Piping Plus. I think they're from Anniston. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. I may be wrong. They brought it to us Tuesday and dropped it off. So this will be the next chassis that we do. Somebody boxed the frame rails, and then somebody put some bracing in the bottom. And we may leave that side, and we may redo this side and do the hoop like we normally do. And that way to get it out where we got something to weld our seatbelt tab to. And so yeah, we're gonna cut all those bumpers off. And of course we'll cut the rear frame rails off, so all that'll come off. And this is gonna be the next one we build. So we're very blessed and thankful that people want these chassis, y'all. And we're taking all the, we know with all the dangers of racing and pictures that have been floating around on social media lately, we're trying to take every precaution we can to make sure that our chassis are safe. And it's just one of those things. I mean, guys know when they get in this car, they're taking a chance. And just like when you sign a waiver going into a racetrack, I mean, you're taking that chance. So we hope everybody stays safe, and we hope everyone's safe. That's why we take pride in our fitment. That's why we take pride in our welding. I definitely take pride in what I do. I know Pops takes pride in what he does because he taught me that. So we try to make sure everything is welded good and fit good. And like I've said, this 120 wall electro weld mild steel, if you'll notice, when we bend it, the seam is right there. This seam isn't exactly on the inside, but we try to keep that seam to the inside. That way when you bend, you don't stretch that seam. So if you'll notice, that seam is not on the outside, it's on the inside. There's ways of understanding tubing and metal to make this stuff safe. And if you understand it and you can fit and you can notch and you can weld, it's going to be safe. The incident at hand with Dallin Murdy's car, there's not a car built out there right now that would have handled what Dallin Murdy went through. When your halo hits the wall and you're going 70, 80 miles an hour, whatever he was going, and then you bounce off the wall and another car hits that halo again, it's not going to survive that. There's not a car out there that will survive that. So it's one of those freak accidents. And I know everybody's like, well, we keep hearing about freak accidents. You're right, we do. They don't happen all the time, but they do happen. So we try to just be as safe as we can. We try to take the precautions that we can in this shop and to make it safe. And of course, we've got a ton of bars to put in this car yet. So we're going to get back busy. Pops, I think, maybe has a bar cut. So y'all hang out. All right, y'all. Y'all can see we got our bottom of our X brace in there. Our 1.25 inch pieces, and got those welded in. I know some of y'all are probably thinking that y'all are seeing me weld a lot more in these videos as we build this chassis. That's because Pops and I talked about it. And we're trying to weld more as we go. That way we don't have as much to weld at the end. Now, we did tack together like the halo and the rear hoop and the dash bars and all that. We did tack all that before we welded all that because that's your main structure. Of course, we didn't want any of that to move while we were working on that. So we did go back. I went back off camera and welded all that up as much as I could. Now we still will have to roll this car up on its side and weld underneath and finish welding everything, but I'm trying to weld as much as I can as we go. That's what saves us some time. And that way we're getting closer to completion. So right now, I'm gonna move the camera up here to the front, and we got our marks on here where our firewall is gonna be on both sides. I'm gonna find center between our two bay bars here and mark the dash bar. Then we'll take 1.25 inch and make our V in here. So that'll brace this in here like we normally do. You can't see ours because it's behind all the firewall, but we like to bring those in behind the firewall. And if y'all remember on Dustin's car, the only bar that goes through the firewall is that diagonal bar right there. And we will go ahead and make that, tack it in, and then when we get ready to do the firewall, we'll cut those tacks and pull it out, punch our hole in our firewall, get our measurement, punch a hole in the firewall, put the firewall in, run that bar back through there. So y'all hang out. All right, y'all. Y'all seen in the time lapse, we got our V put in here, or the 1.25 inch. We're about 1 inch behind where the firewall is going to be, so we didn't want to get right up on that firewall, just so it's easy to work with the firewall. So we got those put in. We went ahead and put our 1.25 inch in the halo here, and that, of course, we try to tie that in from the A pillar bar back to the B pillar bar, so it just adds that triangulation we always talk about. And then Pops and I went ahead and put in the 1.25 inch right here for the back bar of the fuel cell mount. And like I said, the fuel cell will mount to this bar and it will mount to this bar. So be able to slide it a little bit. I think once we cut the lips off of those shock mounts right there, we'll have like 1.5 inches per side. We can move it if he needs to. He may not need to. May work a lot with lead. So we don't know. We know these cars need lead. And we've preached before, and I preached on Facebook the other night. We wish they would lighten these things up. And so we're not having to put 600-700 pound lead on them. Because I'm telling you, we're using 120 watt tubing. I think we're having to weigh way too much with these things. And I wish we could get the weight down on them, but that's just the way it is. And we're going to keep building to meet those rules. So right now, Pops and I, and we put those in. I don't think that was on time lapse, but we put in our lower control arm braces, our lower control arm to upper control arm brace on both sides. And now everything in there is done that we had to reach in and do. So we're going to go ahead and start tying in here. Y'all noticed, remember on Dustin's car, we had an 1.25 inch bar from here, and it lands right inside right here on this one. So we'll run those, and then we'll have a bar that lays close to the frame right here, and it comes up and it bends and comes into this rear main hoop right here, just to allow tire clearance, but it kind of helps tie all that together. So that's what we're going to work on now. Y'all hang out. All right, y'all. Well, y'all seen us put these in. So we got those in. We also put these in. Tie in some more down there on the main frame to the back of the main hoop. And that way it kind of sturdies up the rear clip a little bit. We are not going to X-brace under the rear fuel cell of this one. After talking to some better chassis builders than us, they suggested not doing that in case the car gets backed into the wall, which makes perfect sense. That can fold and not bend the frame. So we've got the frame stiffened here. So, and of course, y'all remember this is 120 wall. So if this 083 stuff back here gets crumpled, we can cut it off here and here, reclip it if we have to, and it'll all work out. So it's coming together. Pops and I are going to call tonight. It's a little after 8 o'clock. And we're going to get back down here tomorrow and hit it hard because we got some parts coming in tomorrow. So hopefully we'll get some more parts here this weekend and we can button this thing up. My goal was to have it done by March 31st, which I know that is Sunday. So we plan to be really, really close to having this thing finished by then. So tomorrow, when we get down here in the morning, we're going to work on our front end, getting getting the front hoop made, the radiator guard, radiator mount, whatever you want to call it. So we'll get a piece of tubing between the rails, then we'll get our hoop made up here, and then we'll get our bars made that tie into the tabs on the front of the bay bars there. And we're going to keep on trucking on this thing, y'all. Tomorrow we're also going to work on the drive shaft loop. Pop slid that yoke up in the transmission so we know where to measure to. Most of your rules say 6 to 8 inch behind the yoke, so we'll come back about 6 or 8 inches or so, and then we're going to do a little bend in a bar and then connect these two bars here. And then of course we're going to tie from there to the frame, and then from there to the frame, and then of course we're going to put more under the seat here. Just kind of tie it all together and make it safer. That's our plan for tomorrow. And like I said, we're getting there, y'all. Fuel cell cage, we may work on it tomorrow, see if we can't get it knocked out. If we can, that'd be good. And it's all coming together. It's looking good. We've knocked this one out pretty quick. We're happy with that. We feel like we could be a little quicker. We've had a couple of days where we haven't worked on it. We've had other stuff going on, but these guys thankfully understand that I work a full-time job, and they understand that life must go on and we have other things to do some nights and some evenings. So But it's come together pretty quick. Can't thank y'all enough for watching. Thank you again to everyone that sponsors us. Thank you again for watching and commenting. We enjoy the comments. I read them. Pops reads them. And appreciate everyone commenting on Facebook. And that's usually where we post that we're going to be posting a video. Usually when I upload a video, I put up a picture on Facebook on the burn page, letting you know that there's a video coming. So hopefully you'll be watching this video on Friday, and that way Saturday or Friday and Saturday we can video, and you'll be watching another video Sunday. So it takes a little while to edit them. So y'all hang out with us. Can't thank y'all enough. Until next time.
Appreciate it, gals, guys. Thank y'all very much. Thank y'all from the bottom of my heart. Till next time, God bless you.
See y'all.